like new cars like everyone else, but I find it much harder to get that chunk of cash together to buy a new car than getting a used car. So if you're not afraid of buying a used car, here's a list of cars that you can get for under $2,000. Before we get started, subscribe to the channel for more future videos. The Toyota Paseo. So not a lot of people know about this car. It's a small little car with a Tercel engine in it. It's really fun, and if you can get a Toyota Paseo with a 5-speed, that's even better. They even make a convertible, and the convertible can be gotten in a 5-speed. So since many people have not heard of this car, you can get really great, amazing deals on them. You can get them for sale sometimes for $500 to $600. The Toyota Echo. So the Echo is the older Toyota Yaris, and it's one of those that very few people have heard of. They get close to 50 miles to the gallon, and they're great cars. You can get them for less than $2,000. You can get, sometimes they're like $2,500, $2,300, something like that, but you can get them definitely under $2,000 if you look around. They come in 2 doors and 4 doors. They also come in 5-speed and automatic. Lots of storage inside, and one of the cool things about this car is like it sits a little bit higher, so you don't really have to kind of crawl out of the car like a sports car. A lot of the old econo boxes are shorter in wheelbase, so you have to kind of push yourself up. This one is pretty much eye level. Great little car for commuters because they're so efficient, and it's a Toyota engine, so they're very reliable. Everything's like simple on it. The dials and the air conditioning and radio are really, very simple. Nothing is overdone. It's a very simple car. Gets really great mileage, and I've driven a couple of these and really liked them. The Toyota Del Sol. This Del Sol is not a car that you see every day. It's a very small car, and Honda did not sell many of them. It's got good reliability. The only problem with these cars is that oftentimes you find them and they're neglected, full of rust, and it's guys who completely modify them to the point of being almost useless. So you have to kind of pick a Honda Del Sol that's unmolested. It's a really great find because there are a lot of followers for this car and people really like them. It's a very distinct look. It's got a convertible top. It's a T-top, so you can remove it in the summer. So it is a nice summertime car, and it's very fun to drive. Gets decent gas mileage, 30 miles to the gallon. The Mazda Miata. The Miata is kind of a cold car. It's a really cool convertible. It's meant to look like the British Roadsters. This car is fairly reliable, and there's tons of parts for it because they sold so many of them. And you can get an early 90s Miata for about $1,500 to $2,000. The key is finding something that's not completely destroyed. Make sure you don't get an automatic Miata because everybody's going to laugh at you. Normally it's such a small car, and it was considered a hairdresser's car because it was so small. But then people found out that this car really handles really well, and it's a great fun car. So now it's got a bit of a following, and people really love these cars. They become a good commuter car as well. It doesn't get great gas mileage. For something so small, you'd expect to get better gas mileage, but it barely hits 30 miles to the gallon. Here's another car from Toyota that doesn't seem to be having such a cult following, but it is a great car. It's the Toyota Celica. I'm a fan of Celicas. Even the older ones look really good. The old ones have that bulbous look that not a lot of people like, but I seem to like. And for less than $2,000, you can get a older Celica, even a convertible one. And sometimes they come with convertible 5-speeds, which is very rare. So they have the legendary Toyota reliability, and even if you want, you can get a newer style Celica with some damage for less than $2,000. So a great car to look at. Not often do you find cars for less than $2,000 that make you look wealthy. The Lexus LS400 is probably one of those cars. They're pretty old, but you can get these for less than $2,000. If they're not beat up, they're great deals. And oftentimes, one of these cars with 200,000 miles is not very much. They have a V8 that's very durable and very reliable. It's a really good car, and it holds up very well. Driving it is very cushy, as if you're like driving on a cloud or something. It's not a good commuter car or a pizza delivery vehicle because it's got a V8 and it gets about 20 miles to the gallon if you're careful. It's not a great feeling having to fill this thing up all the time. It's a good highway monster. It will, just drive and you'll never feel any of the fatigue that you would get from an Econo box. It's got leather interior, so it's very comfortable. They have phones, great stereos. It's a really good car for pimping if you're into that. The Toyota Yaris. It's very much like the Echo, but this is a much more modern Echo. The good thing about the Yaris is that it comes in a hatchback form, and that looks really modern and hip. But it's kind of rare to find it under $2,000. So the reason it's in this list is because you can find it for less than $2,000 with some damage. So it's a great car, gets 40 miles to the gallon, very same size as Toyota Paseo, for example. But a great car, and it even comes in a 4-door sedan, so that could be a great pizza delivery car or even a car for doing Uber. The Nissan Hardbody. The Hardbody predates the Nissan Frontier, and it's a very reliable vehicle, a very reliable pickup truck for under $2,000. It's very rare to find any pickup truck for under $2,000. The fit and finish, not very good, but the motor and transmission on these Nissans is really, really great. And it gets very good gas mileage for a pickup truck. You can get 25 to almost 30 miles to the gallon on this pickup truck on a 5-speed 4-cylinder engine. So this truck comes in a long bed and a short bed format, an extended cab and regular cab. It also has a V6 and a V4. It doesn't hold its value as well as the Toyota Tacoma, so that's the reason you can get great deals on it. The Toyota T100. This truck might be a little bit hard finding under $2,000, but you can get a regular cab, long bed for around $2,000 to $1,500. $1,500, you can get something that it's a little bit beat up. So be careful with rust on these trucks, but other than that, it's got a really good engine. It's got the V6 that you find on the Tacoma. And this predates the Tundra. And the Tundra, as you know, is much more expensive and it usually has the V8. This one's got a V6 or a V4. Yeah, these trucks have been really, really good, but they didn't sell very well, so Toyota pretty much discontinued them. But they're really good trucks for doing work. If you want a pickup truck to kind of get to the construction site, carry tools in the back, put gravel in the back, and have plenty of power, this truck really is pretty rugged. They did a good job on it, but I'm not quite sure why Toyota didn't sell a lot of these. They were priced, I guess, a little bit too high. And when you compare at the time to the Ford 150, the 150 had more power, it was bigger, and I think a lot of people chose that over the T100. I'm not a particular big fan of SUVs, but the Honda CR-V is a really good SUV because it gets pretty decent gas mileage for an SUV, and it's got Honda reliability. That's pretty important to me, but an SUV has got some advantages over a two-wheel drive car. One mainly for winter driving in the snow or going off-road. And it's got quite a bit of cargo capacity, and this car looks very nice. Even the older ones still hold up pretty well. The Geo Prizm. Now the Prizm is in here because it's really kind of like a Toyota Corolla made by Americans. And it's just as reliable as a Corolla. Now, the reason it's here, you can get this car for less than $1,000 a lot of times with less mileage than you would see on a Corolla. So oftentimes these cars do not hold up very well in resale. which is a win for you because you want a cheap car. And it's a perfect car. It's very much like a Toyota Corolla. It's got 4 doors. It's got sometimes 5-speed. Mostly they're all automatic from what I've seen. The Pontiac Vibe. Not a lot of people like this car because it's a Pontiac, but this car is very much like a Toyota Matrix. It's a Toyota Matrix, but with the Pontiac badge. It's a station wagon slash hatchback thing. I'm not quite sure what to think of it. It's got 118 horsepower and all-wheel drive in the automatic version. It also has a version which is a manual 6-speed transmission. Both Toyota engine and transmission on this. The only bad side is that Pontiac built the rest of the car, so it could potentially fall apart within a couple of years. Who knows? Because this is a Pontiac, resale is terrible. So you will be able to find one of these for around the $2,000 mark, sometimes below. You wait a few more years, you can get it below $2,000. But it's a car that's very modern and you can get about the same price that you would pay for a much older vehicle.